What's up, rock stars? Welcome to another amazing video today. I'm excited to be here with you to talk a little bit about adding integers using models, okay? Integers is always a tough topic for kids, so I'm excited to be working on this with you today. You guys ever think about why an Oreo would want to go to a dentist? Yep, he lost his filling. You see, Oreos have a top and a bottom, and then that creamy stuff in the middle is their filling. And when you go to a dentist, that's what they drill, and they put fillings in, and it's just a fun time for everybody. Can we just live it up? All right. Okay, so today we're going to demonstrate and/or model the addition of integers. So we're going to be using integers, which we'll get into in a second, and we're going to show how, when we add them, how it works by using some chips and a number line and some different ways to manipulate it. Because after this, we go to adding integers without using models, just using our understanding of integers. So this is really important. Pay attention. All right. A couple vocab words for you today. Let's start with sum. This is probably something that's come across your radar before, but let's just make sure. When you see the word sum, S-U-M, it's the total you get when you add two or more numbers together. And another way to think of that is it's simply the answer to an addition problem. So look at the example. If I add 2 and 3, so if I say 2 plus 3, the sum, which is the answer, is going to be 5. So the sum is an answer to an addition problem. Next one is zero pair. This may not make a lot of sense to you, but we're going to dive into this and it will help out. So think about whenever you were doing absolute value, you were looking at maybe a 7 and a -7, and what was their absolute value? Both of them had the same absolute value of 7, right? So if you added those two numbers together, a pair of numbers, you add them together, you get 0. So it's a number and its opposite are a zero pair. So think of it like canceling each other out. So if I gain 2 points and then in a game, so I'm playing some game with you guys, I gain 2 points and then the next round I lose 2 points, I'm back to 0. Those two numbers zeroed out. So for example, a 5 and a -5 are a zero pair because 5 plus -5 equals 0. Okay, that'll make more sense here in a little bit. And then integer chips. These are the chips I mentioned at the beginning. These are the things we're going to use to show positive and negative numbers. They're little colored counters, and depending on how you do this, in these slideshows or my videos here, they're going to be red and yellow. Yellow will be positive chips, so each time you see a yellow chip, it'll be a +1. And each time you see a red chip, it'll be a -1. Okay, it's something we use to kind of model and show integers. Okay, speaking of integers, what do you mean speaking of integers? I just said integers. Let's make sure we understand what integers are. Integers are all the counting numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way as far as you can count. As well as the opposites of those, which are the negative numbers. So we're going -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, just keep going that way. And then you also get 0 as an integer. So from 0 counting up and from 0 counting down. Notice what you did not get. You did not get any fractions. Those are not integers. Okay, you did not get 0.073. That is not an integer. Okay, you have to, they are the whole numbers, all these whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, to infinity. The opposite whole numbers, which is the negative version of all those, and 0. That's really important as we go through this understanding of integers and adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing integers. Okay, so let's refresh zero pairs. All right, what does that represent? If you look at our key, yellow represents a +1. If I put a red up there, I got a -1. What does that equal together? Well, it equals a 0. So if you imagine going from, if I went from here to here, I gained 1. So I'm over there at the 1. And then all of a sudden this red chip comes around and I go this way and I go lose 1. Where'd I end up at? I ended up at 0. Okay, so really important. Here's another one for you. Now I got 3 positives. Okay, and so let me go and understand. So this is +3. And then I get my 3 negatives. This is -3. What does that equal? Well, they cancel each other out. It equals 0. In other words, if I go from 0 to 3, because that was my +3, and then I turn around and say, oh, I lost 3. Let's go back to here. Where did I end up? I end up at 0 because it's a zero pair. Okay, so let's get modeling. We're starting with addition because it's pretty much the easiest one, and it's just a good way to start getting an understanding of integer chips. So the first thing you do is just simply ask yourself, what is the first number I am dealing with. Okay, so this problem says 4 plus 2. So I am dealing with a 4. All right, so you see this 4 right here. So go ahead and put your integer chips out for 4. And here they come. I got 4 positive ones. And then it's telling me to add, which means add. I put something more to it, add to it. And I'm going to add 2 more. So I put 2 more up there. Okay? Then you have to ask yourself this question when you're adding integers. So this is a real simple problem, right? Most of you looked at it and said 4 plus 2 is 6. Why are we doing this? You'll see in the next couple problems. Because when you use the integer chips, afterwards you ask yourself, do I have any 0 pairs? In other words, do I have any reds and yellows that I could cancel out? And if I do, I eliminate them to see what is left. Well, I don't have any 0 pairs for this one because everything was positive. So for this one, 4 plus 2 just simply meant that it was 6. And when we show it on a number line, it looks like this, okay? We say, I started at 0 because I didn't have anything, and then I went to 4. Okay? So I went to 4, and then I added 2. So I'm at 4 already, so let's add 2. And where did I end up? I ended up at 6. So that tells me my answer is 6. Now let's look at this one. What did we start with? Well, we start with -2. So let's put our 2 negative chips there. And then we're adding 4 positive chips. So here we go. Now we ask ourselves, do we have any 0 pairs? Well, do we? Yeah. Do you see any reds across from yellows or any ones that we can cancel out? Yeah. There's a 0 pair. Because if I have a -1 and a +1, that equals 0. There's another 0 pair. So once you identify them, go ahead and eliminate them. Bloop, bloop. And then what do you have left? I have 2 positive yellows left. So my answer is 2. If we look at that in a number line, what did we start with? 0. And we go to -2. So we're all the way over here at -2. But then we added a +4. So that means we're going to go the other direction and add a +4. And where do we end up? Because remember, we went from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We ended up in 2. Well, golly, that's the same answer as that one right there. All right, let's try another one. Start with 3. What does that look like? Boom, 3 positive chips. And then we're going to add a -1. So we need to put that -1 up there with it. Do you see any 0 pairs? I do. There's one. Let's eliminate it. What are we going to end up with? 2 left over, which means 3 plus a -1 equals 2. Let's look at it on here one time. We start with 3, so we go from 0 and go all the way to 3, and we stop. And then we're going to add a -1, which means -1 goes the other direction, so we're going to go to here. And where did we end up at? 2. These numbers are the same because they match up. 3 plus a -1 equals 2. Okay, so that's all you got to do for this type of work is you put down, you can either use a number line, you can use integer chips, but it's a couple different ways for you to look at adding integers and getting a pictorial understanding of what that means. Okay, and while you're thinking about that, I want you to ponder why a nurse always carries a red pen. They're always pulling a red pen out of their pocket. It's in case they need to draw blood. See, when we draw blood, we draw it with a pen. When nurses draw blood, they draw blood and they pull. Just got nervous. Bye, y'all.